Hello and good afternoon. If you are just joining us, we'll kick the session off at 12:30 on the dot. Good afternoon, and just to repeat, we'll start at 12:30. Just give a couple of moments for everybody to log in and join us. So the time is 12:30. So good afternoon and welcome to Make UK, the manufacturers organisation webinar on National Manufacturing Day, explaining to you what the day is all about, how manufacturers across the country are getting involved, but importantly also hearing directly from two fabulous firms involved in terms of their plans. And finally, we'll also hear from the Careers and Enterprise Company on the support that they can provide in inspiring the next generation in your local community as well. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Chris Corkin. I am one of the regional membership managers here at Make UK, and we're joined by a fabulous lineup of speakers this afternoon. Just to confirm in the very first instance that the slides presented and a recording of this session will be shared to all those registered for this webinar, but also those registered and involved in National Manufacturing Day as well. And we will close the session in half an hour's time at around 1 o'clock. So very quickly at this point, I'd like to hand over to my two colleagues, Ellie and Hilary at Make UK, who are very much the architects and drivers behind National Manufacturing Day, to give a bit of an overview for our thinking and what our ambitions are for the day on the 7th of July this year as well. So over to you, Ellie.
Actually, Hilary Douglas, I'm Head of Corporate Affairs at Make UK, so I'm just going to start off. On National Manufacturing Day on the 7th of July, we're asking as many manufacturers around the UK as possible to throw open their doors to schools, their local communities, to let everyone see what they do and the most marvellous opportunities that manufacturing can bring to their local area. Next slide. We were inspired by our American counterparts who for the last 20 years have been running a National Manufacturing Day across the whole of the US. And companies have found this to be one of the best recruitment tools they could possibly use, because local schools, local colleges come in to see what there is on offer, and their perceptions of manufacturing are completely changed when they see the wonderful, clean, high-tech environments that are on offer with the skills, jobs that they can have across the board for all age groups. Next slide. This is a pledge wall on our special website that we designed for National Manufacturing Day with just some of the companies who've already pledged to take part. And we're very pleased with the number who've signed up, and any more would be welcome. Next. And this is just some of the confirmed collaborators that we have working with us: the Department for Work and Pensions, the Department for Education. Now, DWP has promised to put details of all companies taking part in every single job centre up and down the country. Companies who are already signed up will be contacted by their local DWP to work out the best plan for the day. And the Department for Education is putting information on everybody taking part out to every school across the whole of the UK. So it really is working very closely with some key government departments to bring in as many people as possible to come and see what our sector has to offer. And I'm just going to hand over to Ellie on our resources.
Thanks so much, Hilary. So as Hilary says, we've got a great website, which is makeuk.org/NMD. And on there, we've got a postcode finder. So people across the country can just put in their postcode and find their local manufacturer taking part. We've also got on there lots of resources for both manufacturers to use, and also educational resources for schools, and also for you guys to use if you want to on the day. We've got some lesson plans and assembly guides, activity sheets, some STEM activities, and we'll keep updating this as we get closer to the day as well. In terms of manufacturers, we've got some great resources there, an event toolkit which can take you through step-by-step guide on how to do a tour, do some demonstrations, do some activities there, the sort of ideas of what you might want to do on the day itself. We've got some resources in the run-up to the day, so template letters to write to your Member of Parliament and your councillors and things, to invite them along to do a visit, to get some media attention for that. Some template letters to write to your local schools and colleges, inviting them along. template press releases. So you just have to fill in your information and that's all there for you to send out to local newspapers. And we can also help you with contact details for local newspapers if you need that. We've got template social media posts to invite people on the day and ideas for putting things in local Facebook groups and things. Some social media assets as well for that, some kind of stamps that you can use on social media. And we're just working on at the moment a schools engagement guide, which gives some really good tips on how best to engage with your local schools. Some template posters, so you can print those out and put them in the local co-op, etc. And some other kind of branding and things that you can use locally. So that's all available to download from makeuk.org/NMD. And if there's anything missing there that you think would be helpful, just drop us a line at nmd@makeuk.org.uk, and we can help share best practice ideas that other manufacturers have got that they want to share with the people taking part. So sign up now if you haven't already. Here's the website, makeuk.org/NMD. There's a really easy form that just takes you through how to sign up there and upload your logo. And please do spread the word to your supply chains, your local manufacturing groups, and work with your local education institutions and youth organisations to get people along. And please do share the details on your social media channels as well. So any questions at all, just drop us an email. We'll share this slide at the end again, so you can jot that down, and we'll happily answer any questions and provide any other information that you might need. And now I'll hand over to Thea from UNEX. Thanks, Thea.
Good afternoon, everyone. So I'll just run through what we are planning so far. Okay, so if you go to the next slide, here we go. So we've broken the day into two. The morning, or the most of the day, I'd say, is dedicated to STEM. We've got a local primary school coming in. We've got the whole of year 3 from my daughter's school, actually. Lots of 8-year-olds, so 90 8-year-olds descending. We've put on 2 coaches for them, so we can ship them in 2 groups, because we can't have 90 in one go. That would just be a little bit too much. So 2 groups of 45 coming in, and we have set up a workshop for them. So half the children will be in the workshop, and here are some of the things that they will be doing. We have binary, so it teaches them about binary, because they might have not done that in their curriculum so far, so it just introduces them to binary. All the activities we've got can be adapted depending on the age of the children, so these can go right up to like a senior school level, but we're dealing with primary school children on National Manufacturing Day. The other activity we've got here is learning how to solder. So you can imagine I've made friends with our health and safety team. So we're doing lots of risk assessments, and there's lots of work going on in the background about that as well. And then we've got a microchip workshop, which uses a simple programming tool. And I know that my kids are doing programming at school, so it fits in well with the curriculum. It lets them program a traffic light. Next slide, please. And a sensor workshop. So the board you see on the left hand side there, if you touch a certain part of that board, it lights up, and we have another one, if you touch it, the lights go off. So it's really simple and fun. And the speed ramp there is designed to, there's an electronic smiley face if the car is slow, and there's a sad face if the car goes down that ramp too quickly. So it kind of ties in with road safety as well, which is good. Next. And this is our MD, Vilker Rains. He decided to come and play in the workshop when we had a little sort of trial session. We got all our kit out, we got all our interns and grads to set everything up and run the workshop, just to make sure everything works and it's ready to go. And here we are. So we also run a train the trainers, because I'm not going to be able to hold these workshops. I'm not an engineer, I'm not technical, so I needed some people who know a lot more about it than I do to come and get trained up, ready to run the workshops for us through the summer. And there we are, they're all smiling and happy. So the next bit of the tour is we're going to take the children into our factory. This is our SMT lines technology for PCBs. So they'll see this, but they'll also see lots of other bits and pieces. So if you just go to the next couple of slides, I've just kind of got an idea on what I would like the children to see. So this is all our funky equipment, and there's Kimmel. He's building one of our enforcement cameras. So these are the things they'll see on the side of the roads, and when they're with their parents, they can kind of spot them and they'll know, I know how these things are made now. That was really cool. I remember going into the factories. That's what we want to do, is spark those, sort of plant that seed to get them thinking about possible careers in the future. Yeah. And the second half of the day, so when the kids go back about 2:30, we would like to focus on recruitment. It's quite hard at the moment. Recruitment's quite difficult. It's a challenge. So not only are we going to get like Job Centre in and give them a tour, also other areas of UNEX we like to promote internally. And in my previous life, I was a PA, so I never went into the factory until I was actually in manufacturing. You just don't go in there because you don't really have a need to. So I would love other people who've never come down from other areas of UNEX across the country to come down for the day, have a tour, just come in and see what we actually do and the work that goes into everything they sell. And CTP, who are they sort of help ex-armed forces transition into civilian roles. And we have a huge marine base here in Poole. So it would be brilliant to work alongside them to see what people we can, really highly skilled people we can bring into our business as well. Next slide, please. And this is what we're doing locally. So Bournemouth, Christchurch and Poole Council have set up like a support network. So there's about 7 or 8 businesses locally when we're all in contact with each other, and we are all sort of sharing what we're doing. We're having regular meetings, we're going to each other's businesses. And actually, I went to Lush for the day and I got loads of free bath bombs. It was amazing, had the best day ever. And they're going to come to us. I've also got the RNLI, which is on my doorstep, and we're going to each other's businesses. And you know, they'll think about things I haven't thought of, and it's how do we get around transport? What do we do with health and safety? So it's brilliant because then we can just spark ideas and share what we're doing. And I think that's me done.
Brilliant, thank you very much, Fear. And straight into our next fantastic example of a manufacturer being involved. I'm very, very pleased to introduce Darren Joyce, Managing Director of Viking Science. Over to you, please, Darren.
Great, thanks, Chris. It's interesting to see different approaches already. It sounds like I'd like to come to yours, please, Thea. So yeah, my name's Darren Joyce, and I'm the MD of Viking Science. We're an on-demand digital manufacturing business, manufacturing safety signs and signs and labels for other manufacturers. And I'm part of a group across Lincolnshire called Gleam, which is a manufacturing-specific network group. And there were several of us who are, some of whom are Make UK members and some of whom are not, who expressed an interest in doing something about this. And we agreed to get together and try to organise something in the local area. So we've taken a slightly different approach in that we approached 10 local schools. We got together as a group, decided what we might offer, and we approached 10 local schools in the kind of Grantham area. And we were quite surprised by how much demand there was actually. I'm not sure what I expected, but they all came back and said, yes, they'd like to send a range of different kind of age groups and class sizes, some of whom are whole year groups. So we kind of had to rethink what we'd originally planned and decided that we would offer slots. Basically, so there were over 150 students that we've kind of had pledges from the schools to send. So we've agreed that there are now 7 in our group that we're going to offer at least 6 hour-long slots in each of the manufacturers, which the schools are going to be able to book capacity on. So we're going to limit the group sizes to 15 and ask them to organise their own transport between them in a minibus or whatever. We're not taking responsibility for that aspect of it. And they all seem very positive about that. So we have set up Eventbrite booking pages for these slots, which we're about to launch publicly soon. One event for each manufacturer, and each one's got a number of tickets for each hour slot for them to book. And our idea is to try to make those actual factory tours, so less actual kind of workshop content that Thea perhaps has talked about, but rather touring the factories. And certainly this is the part we've spent less time on than the organisation of the logistics so far, but from Viking Science perspective, so we're not mandating what each company will do. Each company will come up with their own plan of the detail of this, but from Viking Science perspective, we're going to be light on presentations. It will be actual practical kind of walking the line of our production facility. And because we make things very quickly, so today's orders are being made today to be shipped, we'll be making some branded content about National Manufacturing Day, I'm sure Make UK and the Gleam Group. So we'll have some things that are made, blended in with our normal sign production that are specific to the day, but then people will be able to take away as kind of a memento of their day. We might even do some kind of personalisation of those for the groups, because I'll know in advance what the groups as they come. So the other thing we're going to do as a group, we're trying to organise a treasure hunt of all of the companies, and then ask them to kind of do some content afterwards about what did they see and what did they see in each place. So one of our members is putting that together. I think that's most of what I had to talk about today. So thank you very much, and I hope everyone has a successful National Manufacturing Day.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Darren. Two really fantastic examples of plans of real events taking place on the 7th of July. We've been really encouraged by the number of firms that are involved on the day on 7th of July, taking part in things like this webinar. You know, businesses really helping Make UK themselves and the whole sector really showcase what we make, the careers that we offer, what a modern working environment looks like, and of course the contribution to our sector makes to the UK as well. And it's worth mentioning there's a couple of different approaches already mentioned there by Darren and Thea. Businesses are free to take their own approach to the event that they develop on the 7th of July. I know businesses for inviting friends and family to share what mum, dad, brother, sister, uncle, auntie do, whatever that may be. Some are celebrating their own staff, some are inviting the local neighbourhood, some are going down the job centre route, and some focusing on the next generation, like both businesses here, in terms of schools, colleges, universities, that kind of thing as well. So what you do is really within your hands, and we're Make UK here to support you. I know, Hilary, you wanted to cover very quickly back to the kind of treasure hunt that Thea managed to mention a little bit earlier.
Just wanted to hand back to Thea so she can explain how they've managed to disguise their factory tour as something a little bit more fun.
Yes, sorry, I did forget to mention. So a factory tour is what we take potential customers around, right? They're not going to want to see and hear about, you know, components on PCB boards, etc. What they might want is a little sort of a treasure hunt, because it means there's a little prize at the end. We want to get them excited. We want them to actually see certain things, and we can tie in some health and safety aspects with it. You know, can you find the fire extinguishers? And we can link colours into it, and then so it gets them from one place to the other, and we can sneak in bits of information there and point out some cool stuff without them even realising. So yes, that's something I forgot to mention. Sorry.
Brilliant. No, thank you. Well worth mentioning. So lastly, one of the things that Make UK has been doing is really supporting our members in terms of engaging with their local community, not least, really importantly, the next generation, something that the Careers and Enterprise Company as an organisation can support with. So our next speaker, Ollie, joins us from the Careers and Enterprise Company and can explain a little bit more about what they're about and how they can help.
Great, thanks, Chris. And can you guys hear me? I actually moved to my Bluetooth headphones, so if you can hear me, a little thumbs up.
Yes, absolutely.
Great, good. The technology always lets you down when you need it most, but glad it's working today. Well, look, thanks so much for having me here to talk. I'm delighted to be talking to a group of brilliant manufacturers across the country, and delighted to be supporting Make UK with what is a really impactful day. As you said, Chris, at the Careers and Enterprise Company, we support schools and young people across the country. So I'll just run through a couple of the ways that we can actually support, obviously around the day itself, but then further than the day. And if organisations want to go any deeper in how they work with schools as well, there's a couple of ways. So I'll take you through a little bit about our structure. Then there's a few simple asks that businesses can do after that as well. But also just to say, I've absolutely loved hearing Thea and Chris has gone, I think, as you know, but the other, the activities you guys are getting up to, because it's really inspiring to actually see what's happening on the ground. And the idea of a treasure hunt, well, I quite want to do it, so I can only imagine that actually that sort of thing is going to be really inspiring for young people. As you can see on the slide up there, the Careers and Enterprise Company was set up to help every young person find their best next step. And I think it's a really nice way of thinking about this, because all of these activities that you're doing will help young people to make an informed decision. We know particularly with sectors like manufacturing, there is kind of a bit of an image challenge often, and as I think Hilary referenced, actually the fact that workplaces are clean and high tech, and actually dispelling those image challenges happens at school. So engaging with that next generation is really important. In terms of our structure as an organisation, we work across the country. So we work with nearly every secondary school and college. And we set up a framework for them to engage with the world of work. So what schools work to now is 8 benchmarks called the Gatsby benchmarks. And they basically, if a school meets all of those Gatsby benchmarks, they will be providing world-class careers education in schools and colleges. We have a framework to help those schools meet those benchmarks, and we have a network around the country. On the ground, we work in what are called hubs, and that's a group of schools that are geographically kind of linked. And within each of those hubs, we have positions called enterprise coordinators. So these are our sort of boots on the ground, and they're the people that can actually work with schools and colleges to connect you guys as organizations with the careers leaders who lead on the career strategy within the school. So our boots on the ground are our enterprise coordinators. We then have our careers leaders who lead the career strategy in schools. We know that organizations sometimes struggle slightly to actually engage and maybe get through the gatekeepers for schools. So it's those careers leaders who are those gatekeepers and lead the career strategy in school. And then we have a final piece within our network, which is called an enterprise advisor as well. I'll talk a little bit more about that in a second. The reason for giving you the overview of kind of what that network looks like is to kind of reassure you guys as manufacturers and employers that the framework and the network does exist. And we're here really to try and get you to plug into that network. So if you just move on to the next slide, there's actually 3 sort of specific asks that we can help you guys to engage with our work. So the first one there is what we call the Give an Hour campaign. So that is actually where you can sign up online and it will connect you with that local hub. And if you want to go in and just give an hour of your time, you can do that. The next slide after that, sorry, not next slide, is, pardon me, is actually around becoming an enterprise advisor. So I referenced that very briefly. And an enterprise advisor is somebody who goes in and supports schools and colleges to actually come up with their career strategy. So they will actually provide a strategic direction and a steer for that school. And then the final way to engage is actually as a cornerstone employer, which you can see there. So supporting the careers leader in the school and college to actually drive forwards the career strategy as a group. So those are the 3 main ways that we get involved. Apologies, I've actually just got a bit of a cold actually at the moment, so struggling with the breathing a little bit. The 3 main ways there to get involved how we would sort of suggest that you engage. We'll send these links out afterwards so you can find out more about them as well. And would really recommend just going onto the website and seeing how you can actually engage with the Careers Enterprise Company through that. So thank you very much.
Brilliant, thank you, Ollie. I think we'll let you grab a glass of water there, but thank you very much. And really good role that the Careers Enterprise Company can play between education and business there. We've had some really good comments in on the chat in terms of ideas and inspiration there from other businesses as well. Adding to that, Darren's popped in a chat just to reiterate as part of what they're doing at Viking Science, but actually a really big part of the educational picture, of course, is parents, and they often play a huge role in decisions for young people and the careers they take. So they're having an opportunity for tours in the evening for parents that aren't available during the day to come and see in the evening. This is our final slide. So very much a reminder of the web address for www.makeuk.org NMD for our dedicated website. You can pledge your support on there and see already all the businesses that are already in support of the day there. Then, of course, if you do have any questions, queries, and so on, then please do reach out to us directly on nmd@makeuk.org.uk. But I think thank you very much for joining us. Hopefully this has been a really good whistle-stop tour into all about National Manufacturing Day, our ambitions to shed a light on what is a fabulous manufacturing sector, and also some examples of what businesses are doing on the 7th of July. So I think Darren made a really good point earlier. Have a fantastic 7th of July on National Manufacturing Day, and we're glad to see so many of you involved, which is great. But thank you very much, and thank you to all of our speakers, Thea, Ellie, Hilary, Darren, and Ollie. So thank you very much and enjoy your weekend.